Hey friends, I want to share an encouraging story today that I recently read about. This was a parable, a story about a father and his son, and I'd like to expand on it a little today. This father and son, they were spending time at the shore of a lake, where the young boy busied himself by throwing rocks and stones into the water. Eventually, this boy sees a much larger rock, and he knows this will make an excellent splash. He walks over to it and tries to pick it up. Now this rock is maybe half the size of the young boy, but that doesn't scare him off. He pushes it, tries to get leverage underneath it, and strains his little arms trying to pick up this large rock, but it barely budges. During this whole scene, the father is standing nearby and watching, deciding when to step in and help his son. Just then, the boy becomes frustrated and decides to give up. So the father calls out and asks the boy if he has used all of the strength that he has to move that rock. "Yes," the boy yells out in frustration. "I have used all of my strength and I can't move it. It's impossible." "Really?" the father asks. "Have you used all of your strength?" The child looks confused. Does he possess hidden strength? Extra muscles that he doesn't know about? The father gently walks over, bends down, and easily lifts up the large rock and throws it into the lake, creating a giant and very satisfying splash. The father then turns to look at his son, a smile on his face, and says, "My strength is your strength. It's always with you. All you have to do is ask." This simple and yet powerful story really spoke to me, because so often I find myself grinding through situations, utilizing just my physical and emotional strength, thinking that I am using all of the strength available to me. But that is when we find ourselves becoming stressed. That is where our relationships suffer, and ultimately we can find ourselves being burned out and physically, emotionally, and spiritually unhealthy. Instead, our perfect Father in heaven is calling us to come to Him for His strength and wisdom that is always available. Psalm 27 says, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?" Psalm 37 says that He is their strength, our strength, in time of trouble. Jesus encourages us in Matthew 19, "With men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." And lastly, one of the Bible's most famous verses in Philippians 4, it says, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." So let's never forget that when we are dealing with hard situations in life, when we're trying with all of our strength and might to move past that difficult obstacle, that we have a gracious and patient Father standing behind us, willing and ready to come help us to deal with that issue, to pick up that giant rock and cast it far, far away. All we have to do is ask.